Good evening, guys. Good evening. This is Spirit Journey. And yes, today is January 29th, 2019. And it's a little after 8 p.m. I'm actually very, very exhausted. I had a very busy day today and yesterday. And as many of you know about my situation that I incurred yesterday morning, I woke up, took a shower, and when I was putting on some lotion, I found marks all over my midsection. And I I was scared. So today I'm going to just tell you as much as I can what 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 happened yesterday when I went to the doctors. Well, I had to. I didn't want. Many of you know I am a veteran, and I usually go to the VA. But some things, I think, because I was scared, and I really didn't know. Sorry, I really didn't know what was going on with my body. I didn't know whether the VA would have been the best initial contact. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but that's how I felt. I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so I I really didn't know what to think. And I just didn't know because the markings, as you saw, was very, very bizarre. And I hope the sound is okay. I have this mic. I've used it before. Sometimes it's like like sometimes when you're moving it, the sound gets very faint and then it sounds loud. So I hope this works out well. So I I decided to find a practitioner. I wanted to find someone who I felt was competent, someone who may be exposed to different types of skin conditions. And I feel at times at the VA, they, I mean, they see a lot of people, but I just didn't feel that comfortable because what I thought it might have been. So either way, I found a practitioner over the internet, and I talked to the staff and the doctor directly. Very he's an older man, and he has his office. I'm not going to give the name of the doctor or anything or the address, anything like that, but his practice is like a half an hour ride north of New York City, and that's by train. So I agreed to go make the appointment. I can't believe I made the appointment. The why I say it like that is he was very expensive, and money money doesn't grow on trees. But I think when he said, like, he started to compare that his talents aren't the same as the people in New York City. He used to have a practice in New York City, but he moved about 1 or 2 years ago. And because when I found out that his practice was actually moved, up going up north, I asked if he knew someone more locally. I didn't want to travel that far, and he was saying that the other people aren't like him. He has a different approach and blah blah blah. And I think because of his boldness, and he was some might think arrogant or cocky a little bit. But I said, if he feels that good about his work, maybe he is that good. So I think because of his boldness, I decided, hey, let me take a chance on him. And so I put down a deposit, um, using my card over the phone. And then I trekked over there. Um, I got there early actually. My appointment was to be for 3:30. I got there maybe 15 after 2. So I had time to relax a little bit and to fill out paperwork. And on the train, like when I made the appointment and she got the deposit, that's when she sent me a document to fill out. She said, when you're coming up here, when you have time, fill out the, you know, go get the attachment that I'm going to send you and fill it out as best you can, and send it back to us. So I filled out a lot of the paperwork, and a lot of the paperwork really was about. I mean, how do you say this? I felt the paperwork was really about protecting his business, about cancellation processes, um, all these signatures and this and that. You know, I felt it was a little overkill. But again, he's a businessman and he wants to keep what's his. And so I could respect that, but I just felt it was a little overboard, especially if you're charging that kind of money. It was close to $500, okay? And says, okay, he's running his business, a tight ship. Okay, that if that's his rules, that's his rules. So I do the paperwork. I arrived early, and what else? So my appointment was to be for 3:30, but it they had someone before me, and that other person, um, they said his needs was more complicated than expected, and so they had to spend more time on him. And I said, it's okay. I had brought movies, my tablet, and I have movies on it. So I said, it's okay. I'll just occupy myself. I have movies I can watch. So let's see. Over half an hour later, I think that's when he came in the room, but briefly, he said, he introduced himself and he started asking me questions, and then he had to leave again to go back to the original client before me. So he talked to me for maybe 10 or 15 minutes and then left. And then he finished with that other client, and then he comes back to me and has me go into his office. So now it's like 5 o'clock. So here I have a 3:30 appointment, and it takes a while. It takes a long time to get there, and I'm not familiar with that neighborhood, and that means now, because my 3:30 appointment is now pushed to 5 p.m., now I'll be getting back home when it's dark, and that I don't like doing, especially if I'm not familiar with the area. But I just said, just follow along, and what else? Yes, hello, viewer. Yes, welcome. Yeah, if you like, you could just say a quick hello so I know who's watching, so I could give you a hello back. So anyway, I get to his office, and his examining room was like, I was impressed. His examining room, it looked like a laboratory. He had tons and tons of books. He evidently is very well read on his field of dermatology. He has a holistic approach to dermatology, and I think that's what I was really looking for. That's what I um, keyed into Google search to find me a doctor. So yeah, tons of books, and also there was a lot of supplements. He had like cabinetfuls of supplements of all different types. And let's see, he had an assistant there. My concern, sorry, well, what happened in the very beginning in his examination room, before he actually did the exam on me, the person that worked there with him, it's just one other person that's with them, a woman, and she had she like I had to fill out. Well, the doctor was writing down notes when he initially gave me that talked to me for that 10 or 15 minutes, and then he had to go back to the original client. And she lost the paperwork, and she puts my information in that other client's folder and stapled it to his. So what that means is this. Let's say that client wanted to get a copy of his folder, his health file. Well, my file, my information would have been in his folder, and he would have gotten my personal information. So I thought that was very, very problematic. But they're all like laughing, like it's not really serious. But let's say if the establishment was someone from a poorer neighborhood and maybe charged maybe just $100 a visit or $80 a visit. Now you would say, that's very unprofessional, right? And maybe complain to him. But being that he's charging so much money, it's almost like it protects you. Like when you make a mistake, it's not biggie, you know. So, but I thought that was a very big mistake. So I just kept a mental note. He does his methods for doing his exam was very unique. I it got confusing at times. I kind of sort of heard about it's he uses what we call it muscle information, and I hope that's the right term, but it's muscle something. In short, like the body is all energy, and when there's an interference, you're able, based on muscle movement, you can tell weakness in someone when a particular element is introduced. I hope I could word it like let's say you're allergic to peanuts. I'm just making up something, and then you get the peanuts and you hold it next to the person, and then you have them raise one arm like that to the side, and then the doctor, you know, puts your hand down like that. So again, your arm is straight out like that, and then they push downward on the hand. And if you're able to hold your hand up and not have the person be able to put your hand down, then that particular those peanuts is okay for you. But if you was weak, and when he pressed down on the hand, and if you can't hold it up, that means those peanuts are problematic for you. Think of it like that. So in my case, he asked me to put my hand on the part of my body that had those markings. And so I did, and I didn't know what he was going to do. So he has me put my arm out, and then he starts pushing down on my hand, and yes, my hand did go down. And then he tried other when I gave him information on, like, he wanted to try to pinpoint what could have triggered the markings that I had on my body. So it'd be like, let's say, like the markings came on me yesterday, and so he says something might have happened to you Friday or even Tuesday. What was unique on those days? And I explained to the best of my ability what might have been new or different. And let's see what else. Um, so he thought that the stress, because I told him about a friend of mine who died about 4 days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, and it was very stressful. Um, and I told him that I use essential oils in my bar soaps and body oils that I make. So he thought maybe it was a toxicity, too much essential oil use. And he mentioned something about um, that he thinks I have what's called a leaky gut, and he showed pictures what a leaky gut might look like. To try to explain what the phenomena is, and that the leaky gut could have also be due to, he said he believes my ileocecal, something like that, ileocecal valve. That is a valve that connects the large intestines from the small intestines, and that in my case, he believes that my valve is open, and doesn't close, and so the you could think of it like my plumbing being backed up, and so all the waste goes back into the body, and he thinks that could have caused problems with the markings. What else? And it was weird, like um, because it's such a new science to me. To someone saying like we can determine X, Y, and Z by just putting your arm out, and I felt that at times, like he used like he I mentioned like at least two of the essential oils that I use a lot of times, and he did that same thing. He had an extra bottle of that particular essential oil. It was like cinnamon and spearmint or peppermint, and he had put the bottle one on one, up to my tummy, and he had this looked like a metal plate about 5 inches by 7 inches. And he had me put my hand on top of the plate, and underneath the plate is the essential oils. And then he had me put my arm out, and he pressed down. And again, according to that, um, my arm did go down. And so he's saying that those essential oils I need to stop. So, but I don't know. I feel very. It was just a weird visit. Some things were okay, but um, I think post exam, I feel I don't know what to make out of it. I feel almost like, is he joking? Is this a real science? Um, because it's not like he's examining inside my colon. I mean, I've had colonoscopies in the past, several times, and I would have figured that my GI tract would have had inflammation and thus irritable bowel syndrome or the leaky gut syndrome. But they said my GI tract was fine. So, I mean, I have no pain in my GI as far as I know. Um, so I'm wondering, it's almost like, I mean, you hear people talk about like they say that they're sensitive to gluten, and it seems like everybody, it's like when one person's sensitive to it, it's like the new fashion, and everybody now is gluten sensitive. Yeah, I hope you guys could hear me. I have this mic, and sometimes it acts up. So I hope you can hear me well. So you can write down below if the audio's good. Do I need to put the mic closer to me or not? So I question about the science behind it. Um, and I think also the reason why I question the science behind, I think it's called kinesiology. Kinesiology, that's with the muscle movement and the strength of the muscle as it pertains to those variables that may not be working for you, or if it'll be beneficial to you. Um, like at times he, like, like I think for something to really be a real science behind it, you have to do it the same way. Because sometimes he'll press right on the hand, and there's other times over here. But even with I'm not I'm not an engineer, but like the science of engineering, like how do it goes? Like if you press to the extremities, it's one type of give, and but if you press down over here, the give of going down, it's not the same. So he's going to get different responses according to where he presses downward on your arm. And I noticed sometimes he didn't go down straight. He just like kind of like push in. So it's making it seem, oh yeah, it's strong, but it's not. You know, He so it's he's getting, I think, a false reading from me, and I start to think, hey, is he playing games? If you're going to push down, but he's not even pushing down, he's pushing in. So I think he's going to get a different reading. And according to how he's going to push, he's going to get a different reading. And then he said, okay, you need to avoid this. So and so get this supplement, that supplement. He had me, I have here a bag full of supplements. Now, if if I'm toxic of these things, like I really try to be very natural. I make my own oils. Um, I use the essential oils. I'm vegetarian. I try to drink my water and all that. So I'm conscious of what I eat, but it doesn't mean that I don't make mistakes. Maybe something, maybe I made an error with, um, but I don't want to have to take more supplements. I already take like acidophilus, I think it's called. That what's in like yogurt, those live cultures. Excuse me. I have that, and but he had me get more. So I thought that was a waste. Um, what else? I felt like I mean, I'm going to just say it. Again, I'm not going to give the doctor's name. And I think it was like I was afraid to really challenge him. I said once at the exam, I said, you're not pushing down my hand um, the same way. You being soft, you know. Um, so I said that once or twice. 'Cause I said, because I thought like he's like kind of clowning around. So, but yeah, he's an older gentleman. He looks like maybe in his 70s, and I guess my background, like you don't really challenge doctors, especially if they're older. He looks really distinguished looking and everything, and he talked very fast for me, and um, very definitive, and like what he says goes. And I think I was just maybe a little intimidated. Um, and I don't think in hindsight I should have gotten the supplements. I really wanted to get a diagnosis because again, it's the markings I got. I woke up to them. It just came out of the blue, and so I was scared because I thought it might have been something very serious. And again, my friend had just died about 4 days ago, and I felt still vulnerable on upon getting the news of her passing. So I was very eager to be seen right away. Um, but I felt that his approach on how he did the kinesiology testing um, was was not done uniformly. And it's like when he wanted something to be considered weak, he'll press down harder, and then other times he just press in rather than down, and so he's going to get a different response. So let me show you the all the supplements. He gave me two, four, six, seven different supplements. This one, let me get, let's see. Some of the supplements, um, this is like a fatty acid thing. This one's like a fiber. I feel like it's like a store. This is like enzymes to break down foods. I'm not even sure what that is. Okay. This stuff here. I'm not even sure what that is. Yeah, I'm not even sure what that is. That. And two more bottles. This one. Okay, this is a probiotic. So I told him that I use a probiotic, but then he put this also for me to get. And this is some other stuff here. So this is a lot of stuff. I feel like I feel um, I feel like I shouldn't have gotten these. All this stuff that I just showed you is almost $150. You heard me right. About $150. And that's on top of the 480, what's that? $435. So my bill my bill was like 600 something. 600 something. And it's like I don't feel right about it. I feel like, I mean, I agreed to when I got there. I knew just to walk in, he was to cost approximately $435 just to walk in his office. And the examination, which includes like an interview, for 1 hour and 15 minutes, and that's a long time, you know. But I just felt that um, I don't know. It's not. I don't know. I felt funny about the interview, about the way that he did the exam. Um, some things he told me. Let's say he told me about my diet, what type of food I should be eating. He believes that I have a leaky gut. He wants me to stay away from the spices. He said that I need to really, really chew my food well, almost like a slurry, that the particles, if it's a little bit too big, that it can get into the gut and back up in it. You want as little irritation. So the more slurry the food is, he said even like if I eat raw vegetables, because I told him this week I was eating a raw salad. And he said that if you eat any raw salad, you have to really chew because those pieces could really become problematic. And he said, better, just blend it. If you're going to eat a raw salad, put in the blender. So I thought that was something. And in closing, let me see. Oh, he felt that um, my diagnosis is, I forget the terminology, but he believes, in a nutshell, he said the stress over my friend dying, and he feels that I have the leaky gut and something wrong with my ileocecal valve and the, what do you call it, the essential oils, that it might be too much in my system. And so the stress and all those other elements cause a stressor and it manifested in the spots. Oh, something else. He also said that he felt that I was allergic to latex because, again, with the kinesiology testing he did, he took a rubber glove or latex glove, yeah, the latex glove, and I didn't see when he put underneath the metal plate. Again, I mentioned that he used what looked like a metal plate, and the dimensions were about 5 by 7, and it's maybe a quarter of an inch thick, or a little more. And he put the item that he wanted to test underneath the plate, and then he had me put my hand on top of the plate itself, and then I have to put my arm out like that. And then he pushed down, and he said that when he had the glove hidden, that my arm, I couldn't hold my arm up. So he's saying that he thinks I uh, might be allergic to my bed. I told him I just bought my a new bed in December, this past December, and it cost me a fortune. It's all organic. It's an organic, 100% pure latex bed, and then it has a topper, a cotton and wool padding on top. So if I'm allergic to this, that's a bad sign, and I that means I can't sleep on it. And again, I paid all this money to, yes, hello, viewers. Yes, you could just write down below to say hello if you like. But yes, so he's saying that my he thinks I'm possibly allergic to my bed and to sleep on something else. Yes, right now I am sitting on my bed. But so all this information, yes, hello, welcome, welcome. So I feel I don't know, I feel really weird about it. I feel almost like a little foolish. And I'm usually a little better about things like this, about, being more, yes, yo, yo, yo. Yes, yes, it's good to see you. So I just feel a little uncomfortable. I think I made a poor decision. Well, again, I didn't know what type of dermatology he practiced, what holistic dermatology was. But I was willing to try something new. And he seemed really extremely confident in his abilities. But I think maybe I feel a little played. And again, I got 8 bottles of more supplements. I don't want to have, I don't, it costs almost $150. And I feel kind of stupid. I, um, I don't think I should have bought any of these supplements. And again, I really just wanted to get a diagnosis. Was it something deadly, or was it just anxiety got manifest and I broke out on my skin? I don't know. But and also he went away. He'll be away for 10 days. He's going to do something on the West Coast. So yeah, this is. I don't want to have to take more supplements, and I felt like his thing is I felt like he was milking me dry of my finances. I mean, that sounds awful. I mean, if you're good, and I'm willing to pay good money if you're good. But I'm left feeling kind of awkward about the the methodology, and not really something definitive, you know. What else? Oh, so now, so that's basically what it said. What his findings were, that the